Oh, my dear listeners, gather close as I, Evelyn, an old woman of 78 winters, share a tale that still sends chills down my spine, piercing my heart with a sorrow I can scarcely bear. It's a story of family bonds tested by fire, of secrets that fester in the dark like wounds that refuse to heal, and of the unyielding strength that comes from a grandmother's boundless love. Sit back, pour yourself a cup of tea, and let me take you back to that stormy night when everything changed, when my world shattered and rebuilt itself in tears and resolve. It was a Tuesday in mid-autumn, the kind of night where the wind whispers warnings through the branches, carrying the weight of unspoken fears, and the rain beats a relentless rhythm on the roof, echoing the pounding of a terrified heart. My little house on Maple Street had been my sanctuary since my husband, Harold, passed away 5 years prior, leaving a void that no amount of time could fill. Harold and I had built this home together after the war, he with his carpenter's hands, me with my dreams of a family nest. The walls are lined with photos of better days. Our wedding in 1965, where I felt like the luckiest woman alive. My daughter Lisa's birth in 1970, a moment of pure joy amid the exhaustion. Her wedding to Mark in 2005, where my smile hid a nagging doubt, and our grandson Tommy's first steps in 2013, his tiny hand in mine filling me with a warmth that chased away the loneliness. These days, my routine is simple: knitting scarves for the church bazaar, each stitch a prayer for those I love, tending to my rose bushes that bloom defiantly each spring, their thorns a reminder of life's pains, and occasional visits from the neighbors who bring casseroles and gossip, though none could mend the ache of isolation. But that night, sleep had come fitfully. My arthritic joints ached with the change in weather, a remnant of years spent working as a school teacher, standing on concrete floors, pouring my soul into shaping young minds. I'd retired at 65, but the pain lingered like an unwelcome guest, a constant companion to my grief for Harold. I'd just drifted off when the knocking began, around 2 a.m. At first, I dismissed it as the storm's fury, thunder rumbling in the distance, lightning flashing like God's own camera, illuminating my fears. But it grew insistent, a desperate tattoo against the wood of my front door, each rap tugging at my heartstrings with urgency. With a groan, I slipped on my worn robe, the one with the frayed sleeves from years of use, its fabric soft from countless washes, carrying the faint scent of lavender from Harold's favorite soap. I shuffled down the hallway, my slippers whispering on the creaky floorboards, my mind racing with worry. Peering through the peephole, my heart nearly stopped, a sharp pang of terror and love colliding. There stood Tommy, my 12-year-old grandson, soaked to the bone, his face a mask of fear and pain that twisted my insides. A nasty bruise swelled under his left eye, turning it into a slit, and his lip was split, blood mixing with rainwater. His usually neat brown hair was plastered to his forehead, and he shivered violently in his thin pajamas, looking so small and vulnerable that tears welled in my eyes instantly. "Tommy, child, come in, I exclaimed, my voice breaking as I flung the door open, despite the gusting wind that nearly knocked me off my feet. He stumbled inside, clinging to me like a lifeline, his small arms wrapping around my waist with a desperation that broke my heart anew. Water dripped from his clothes, forming puddles on the hardwood floor I'd polished just that morning with lemon-scented wax, but I cared not. All that mattered was holding him, feeling his trembling body against mine, my own tears mixing with the rain on his head. I guided him to the kitchen, the heart of my home, where the scent of leftover apple pie lingered from the batch I'd baked earlier that day, a pie made with love and hopes for brighter times. The room was warm from the old cast-iron stove, its embers glowing faintly, casting shadows that danced like my swirling emotions. I sat him at the oak table Harold had made, wrapping him in my thickest wool blanket, the one knitted in blues and greens during long winter evenings when loneliness threatened to overwhelm me. Then I set the kettle on for hot cocoa, his favorite, with extra marshmallows, my hands shaking as I tried to steady my racing heart. "What happened, sweetheart? How did you get here? It's 3 miles from your house," I asked, my voice trembling with a mix of fear and fury as I gently examined his injuries under the soft glow of the pendant light. He had walked, or rather run, the distance in the pouring rain, barefoot no less, his sneakers lost in the haste of escape. His feet were muddied and cut from the gravel road, each scrape a dagger to my soul. Between sobs that racked his small frame, wrenching guttural cries that echoed my own inner turmoil, the story unfolded like a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. His parents, Lisa and Mark, had been arguing again. It started over dinner, something trivial like the electric bill being late, but Mark's temper, always simmering beneath his polished exterior, boiled over with a rage that chilled me to the core. He'd been drinking, Tommy said, nursing a bottle of whiskey hidden in the garage, his eyes glazing over with that distant anger I'd glimpsed at family gatherings. Mark's words slurred as he yelled about work stress, the promotion he didn't get, and how Lisa was spending too much on nonsense, each accusation laced with venom that made Tommy flinch even in recounting. Lisa tried to calm him, her voice soft and pleading as it was in these moments, but he shoved her against the kitchen wall, the impact knocking pictures to the floor with a crash that resonated in Tommy's memory. Tommy, who had been in his room upstairs doing homework, math problems on fractions that he hated, his little brow furrowed in concentration, heard the commotion and rushed down, his heart pounding with a child's instinctive protectiveness. He saw his mother on the floor holding her arm, tears streaming down her face, and his father looming over him with raised fists, a monster in place of the man he once idolized. Brave little Tommy intervened, grabbing his father's arm and shouting, "Stop! You're hurting her!" his voice cracking with fear and determination. That's when Mark turned on him with a backhand that sent the boy sprawling across the tile, his cheeks slamming into the counter's edge, the pain exploding like fireworks behind his eyes. The betrayal in Tommy's recounting brought fresh tears to my eyes. How could a father inflict such horror on his own flesh and blood? "But that's not all, Grandma," Tommy whispered, his eyes wide with a fear that no child should know, a haunted look that pierced my soul. He paused, sipping the cocoa I'd placed in his shaking hands, the steam rising like ghosts of happier times. "Dad, he's been doing bad things. I heard him on the phone last week, talking about money he took from work. And there's a lady. He meets her sometimes after work. Mom doesn't know, but I saw texts on his phone once." His voice dropped to a whisper, as if saying it aloud made the pain more real, and I felt a wave of nausea, my heart aching for the innocence lost. My blood ran cold, a chill deeper than the storm outside, mingling with a surging anger that made my hands clench. Mark, the successful financier with the flashy silver sedan and the perfect smile that charmed everyone at family gatherings, had always seemed too good to be true. I'd voiced my concerns to Lisa when they first met at a company picnic 15 years ago. His charm felt practiced, his stories too polished, like a salesman closing a deal. But she was in love, dazzled by his promises of a better life, her eyes shining with hope that now seemed so fragile. I didn't press, not wanting to be the meddling mother-in-law, but oh, how I regretted it now, the guilt twisting like a knife in my gut. I held Tommy close, his head on my shoulder, the blanket enveloping us both. His sobs quieted to hiccups as I rocked him gently, just as I'd done with Lisa when she was small and scared of thunderstorms, my own tears falling silently into his hair. My mind raced with what to do next, a torrent of emotions, fear for their safety, rage at Mark, sorrow for the family torn apart. Call Lisa? The police? Both? I opted for the authorities first, my hands shaking uncontrollably as I dialed 911 on the old landline phone mounted on the wall. My grandson showed up bruised and beaten, I told the dispatcher, my voice steady despite the storm of tears threatening to break free. His father did this. Please send help. 2 officers arrived within 20 minutes, their patrol car lights flashing blue and red through my curtains, cutting through the darkness like beacons of hope amid despair. The younger one, Officer Ramirez, a kind-faced man in his 30s, took Tommy's statement gently, noting every detail in a notebook, his empathy evident in his soft tone. The older, Sergeant Hale, photographed the bruises with a digital camera, the clicks echoing in the quiet kitchen like accusations. "Ma'am, we'll check on the mother and father," Sergeant Hale assured me, his mustache twitching with concern, and I felt a flicker of relief mixed with dread. As they laughed, promising to return with updates, I tucked Tommy into the guest bed upstairs, the one with the quilt my own mother had sewn in the 1940s, its patterns faded but comforting. I sang him the lullaby I'd sung to Lisa as a child. "Hush, little baby, don't say a word," my voice cracking on the high notes, memories flooding back of simpler times. He fell asleep quickly, exhausted from the ordeal, his small chest rising and falling under the covers, but sleep evaded me. I spent the night in the rocking chair by his side, praying for guidance, the storm raging outside, mirroring the one in my heart, tears streaming as I whispered pleas for their healing. The morning brought a gray dawn, the rain reduced to a drizzle that mirrored my lingering sorrow. Lisa arrived around 8 a.m., her face a canvas of bruises matching Tommy's, a black eye, a split lip, and a welt on her cheek that made my stomach churn with maternal agony. She knocked softly, and when I opened the door, she collapsed into my arms, sobbing with a depth that echoed my own pain. "Mom, I didn't know where else to go. Mark, he's out of control." We moved to the kitchen, where I brewed strong coffee, the aroma filling the air as she poured out her soul, each word a release of pent-up grief. It turned out the abuse had been going on for years, subtle at first, verbal jabs that chipped away at her self-worth, controlling her spending to isolate her, making her doubt her own sanity. But lately, with Mark's job pressures mounting, it had turned physical, each blow a betrayal that left scars on her spirit. "I knew he had a temper," Lisa admitted, stirring her coffee absent-mindedly, her eyes filled with a haunted regret that broke my heart. "But I thought it was just stress." Then the gambling started. He'd come home late, reeking of whiskey and cigarettes, and snap at the smallest things. I found receipts for online poker sites, thousands lost. Her voice trembled, and I reached for her hand, feeling the tremble in her fingers, my own eyes brimming with unshed tears for the daughter I'd failed to protect. I listened, my heart aching for my daughter, who looked so much like me at her age. Same curly hair, same determined chin, but now shadowed by pain. I'd seen signs over the years. Canceled family dinners, excuses for bruises she called clumsiness from tripping on toys, but I'd stayed silent, not wanting to interfere in her marriage as my own mother had in mine, the guilt now overwhelming me like a wave. Harold and I had our rough patches early. He worked too much, I felt neglected, but we talked it out.
grew stronger, our love deepening with each challenge. Now I regretted my silence, the what-ifs tormenting me. As Lisa spoke, more truths emerged, each one a fresh wound. Mark's work stress was a facade for deeper troubles. He'd been gambling heavily, online casinos, sports bets, horse races, anything to chase the thrill of a win, his addiction consuming him like a fire. When the losses mounted to over $100,000, he dipped into company funds, forging signatures on expense reports and transferring money from client accounts. The total embezzled? Over $250,000 funneled to bookies and, as Tommy mentioned, a mistress he kept in an apartment downtown. The betrayal cutting Lisa to the core. She had suspected the affair for months, finding lipstick stains on collars, unexplained hotel charges on credit card statements, and late-night texts he deleted quickly, each discovery a stab of jealousy and heartbreak. "I have to end this," I said firmly, taking her hands in mine, our tears mingling as we embraced. "For Tommy, for you." She nodded, her sobs subsiding into resolute sniffles, and we decided together, our bond strengthening in that moment of vulnerability. I called my old friend Margaret, a sharp-minded lawyer who'd handled Harold's estate after his heart attack, her voice a lifeline. "Evelyn, this is serious. Abuse, fraud. We'll build a case that sticks," she said over the phone, her words igniting a spark of hope amid the despair. The days that followed blurred into a whirlwind of activity, each one laced with emotional highs and lows. Lisa filed for divorce and a restraining order at the courthouse, the clerk's sympathetic eyes noting her bruises, and I held her hand, whispering encouragements through my own tears. The police investigation deepened, officers returning to interview us all, their questions stirring up painful memories. They seized Mark's laptop from the house, uncovering emails to his mistress, bank records of transfers, and even photos from lavish trips funded by stolen money, each piece of evidence a validation of our suffering. The mistress, a young woman named Carla from his office, was in on the scheme, helping launder the funds through fake invoices for a non-existent consulting business. Her involvement was a double betrayal that left Lisa reeling with insecurity. Tommy stayed with me during this time, his school notified of the family emergency. We fell into a routine to bring some normalcy. Breakfast of pancakes with maple syrup, his favorite, where we'd share small smiles. Schoolwork at the kitchen table, my praise for his efforts warming his spirit. And afternoons in the garden where he helped me prune roses, his small hands careful with the thorns. Our conversations turned to dreams and fears. We baked cookies, chocolate chip, his favorite, and played board games like Monopoly, where I let him win to see his smile, though his laughter was tinged with sadness. I enrolled him in counseling at the local community center, sessions paid for from my pension, where he could voice the pain he carried. The therapist, a gentle woman named Patel, helped him process the trauma, drawing pictures of safe places like my house, and I attended family sessions, tears flowing as we unpacked the layers of hurt. Lisa joined group sessions for survivors of domestic violence, finding solidarity with other women. Her story shared amid hugs and empathy, slowly rebuilding her shattered self-esteem. The trial came 3 months later, a tense affair in the county courthouse. A stately building with marble floors and high ceilings that echoed every footstep like judgment. Mark sat in the defendant's box, his once impeccable suit now ill-fitting from prison weight loss, his eyes avoiding ours, a shadow of the man who'd caused so much pain. His lawyer spun tales of temporary insanity from financial pressure, but the evidence was overwhelming. Digital trails, witness testimonies from colleagues, Even Carla turning state's evidence for a lighter sentence, her testimony a final nail in the coffin of trust. Tommy testified bravely, his voice echoing in the quiet room as he recounted the night, describing the sounds of shouts and slaps, tears streaming down his cheeks as he relived the horror. Lisa followed, detailing years of emotional and physical abuse, her voice breaking only once, her strength inspiring me to tears. I took the stand last, recounting the knock on my door, the fear in Tommy's eyes, the puddles on my floor, my words steady but laced with emotion. No child should run through the rain to escape his home, I said, my voice cracking as memories flooded. The judge's nod, a small comfort. The judge, a stern woman with gray hair pulled into a bun, much like mine, sentence marked to 7 years, 5 for embezzlement, 2 for assault, plus full restitution to his company and victims. As the gavel fell, a weight lifted from my shoulders, but the tears came freely, a release of pent-up grief and relief. In the aftermath, life reborn like spring after winter, though the scars remained, tender to the touch. Lisa moved in with me temporarily, our late-night talks mending old rifts, her laughter returning like a long-lost friend. She found a cozy 2-bedroom apartment nearby, decorated with thrift store finds and photos of better times, each item a step toward independence. She returned to nursing, her passion reignited after years as a stay-at-home mom, working at the local hospital where she helped others heal, finding purpose in her pain. I sold some antique jewelry Harold had given me, a gold locket with his photo, diamond earrings that sparkled like our love, to seed her new start, the act bittersweet as I parted with pieces of my past. We celebrated with a family picnic in the park, Tommy kicking a soccer ball with newfound joy, his giggles a balm to my soul. As for me, I found purpose in advocacy, joining a local group for victims of domestic violence, sharing my story at meetings in church basements, my voice reaching ears that needed it, tears often flowing as I connected with others' pain. Age does not diminish our power, I tell them, my heart swelling with empathy. The group grew, and I even spoke at a regional conference, my nerve steadied by Tommy's encouraging note. "You're the strongest, Grandma," his words filling me with pride and love. Years have passed now, and Tommy is a teenager, tall and kind, visiting every weekend to mow the lawn or fix the leaky faucet Harold once tended, our bond unbreakable. Lisa dates occasionally, a nice man from work, cautious but hopeful, her smile genuine once more. And Mark? He writes letters from prison, begging forgiveness, expressing remorse in scrawled handwriting that stirs mixed emotions. We read them together, discuss, and file them away. Forgiveness is a journey, not a destination, and we're taking it one step at a time, healing together. This tale, my friends, is a reminder family is the anchor in life's tempest. Listen to the knocks at your door. They might just save a life. And remember, even in darkness, love lights the way, mending the broken with threads of emotion.